Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. We got a little bit of news today. You know, we skipped it last week, so I won't lie. I missed it.
This week's news is
A little bit of
next week's old news.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No,
And
it did kind of suck to take a week off from news.
yeah, I love doing interviews. Last week we had 2 interviews, but we didn't do a review episode. We didn't do a Monday morning news.
No,
I didn't sleep right. You know,
I didn't feel complete.
No, I need the Monday morning news. And we call it Monday morning news, but you might be listening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's fine. It's not illegal.
Just a name.
Yeah, you won't get pulled over.
It's not illegal.
You won't get pulled over. You're rolling down the street on your way to work.
To the news a month from now.
Sir, are you listening to Monday morning news? Do you know what day it is? It's Wednesday. Change that. Turn it off.
Could just delete the episode.
So yeah. So like always, each week talking the latest and greatest in the world of VR.
The scoops. The scoops, I tell you.
The latest.
The latest scoops.
So right off the top, I guess a fun one to hop into, just because we love them. You know, Resolution Games, Demeo, one of our favorite games. Who doesn't love Demeo? They just added a pass-through mode for both the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro.
Of course they did.
Yeah. So if you're on, yeah. Well, it makes sense
because their game wasn't already good enough, you know.
It makes sense.
And giving you a playroom and things to paint and little games to play.
Dude, the painting feature is one of the coolest aspects of Demeo.
Yep. I mean, I wish.
Well, hold on. Let me go backwards.
I wish you could go a little more. I know we'll say side area of Demeo, not the actual game itself.
Yeah, it's hard to say
in the game, man.
No, I won't say that. But of the social things, it definitely takes that.
Yeah, no, we have a blast anytime we've ever done it. It's pretty relaxing, and it reminds me of, you know, being a little kid painting the little Dungeons and Dragon pewter pieces, which was by far much more of my Dungeons and Dragons experience was owning those than. So yeah, no, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time we went into that mode. We went to go just check it out for 2 minutes, and we were spent 30 minutes, and therefore you're like, hold on, I'm still painting. I got another part I want to finish.
Yeah, getting a hold of the thing, getting all detailed.
Yeah, so a little sidetrack there.
I got nostalgic,
right? But the pass through is that makes so much sense for Demeo. So if you're on the Quest 2, it'll be the black and white, standard pass through infrared cameras. If you're on the Quest Pro, unfortunately we're not rocking ones. But if you're on the Quest Pro, you get that with color pass through.
Oh yeah, no, it seems to be the hot trend right now is taking advantage of the pass through and seeing what you can. And I think they were really waiting for the Pro.
Yeah, to drop that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if there's any newer technology anywhere, it's probably focused more on that, and then the residual will trickle down to us.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of
Q2 owners.
I'm a big fan of the potential of these, quote unquote, mixed reality games that utilize the pass through.
I'm on the fence.
You're on the fence? I think
I'm on the fence.
There's a lot of cool ones coming. Shooters,
I like the idea of being able to map out your room. So if you're doing room scale or whatever, you could, I think they have a shooting one. And if you're hiding behind your kitchen table, so you're not going to bump into shit. I can respect that, but I don't know. I just integration's what I'm more anxious to see, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be widespread popular on the Quest 2 as long as we have these black and white cameras, and of course the Quest Pro is so expensive at the $1,500. It's not like it's going to be everybody's utilizing the color pass through. But if the Quest 3 has color pass through, it's going to be. Yeah, I think that's going to be a whole industry of games.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Yeah, I think the skepticism comes while
Tough word.
Yeah, right. While a little tongue tied, it comes while it's still the black and white cameras for me. But I think when it's color pass through completely, it's gonna be a hit.
See, I remember black and white TV, so when I see the black and white, I just think okay, so this is where we're at. And then what came after the black and white TV, the color TV, wasn't
Then HD.
Yeah, HD was the game changer for television.
Yeah, it's like not wearing glasses, then putting on glasses.
Yeah. Oh, no, 1,000,000%. And some TVs I actually look at, and I'm like, that almost looks too good. Like someone filmed it with it's I don't know. But it's almost too good of graphics for a TV.
Well, my attitude with the whole pass-through thing is dude, we'll spend 15 minutes in the homeroom. Last night we were playing and you hopped into my homeroom and you almost sounded a little bummed that I was already in the app. You're
I'm like, where'd you go, man? I traveled over here.
Yeah, you're like, I'm in your room, but I don't see you.
No, and I think we both always agreed too that when the person visiting the room can physically see your room,
yeah,
then
if
that's
they ever allow
a
it.
game change. Yeah, they should just allow it to connect to the other person's headset for
Like,
field of view.
I think we were saying it the last Monday morning news. Like, there should just be a privacy feature that you can
I'm
turn
down.
on.
I'm down. I'm an adult. I'll click it.
But besides
I'll
the
wear lead underwear and shit so nobody can see me.
besides the pass-through coming to Demeo, they're also adding. They didn't say exactly when, but coming soon. They're doing the hand tracking for Demeo too.
That I really like.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Yep. Because then it's just going to add more of that authenticity to the whole game.
Well, think of that pass-through. So you're seeing it in your room, and then
And
you're
you're
doing it with
picking
your
up the
hands.
die.
Oh my god! And the pass-through, we talked about it before. The pass-through it's not the pass-through. The hand tracking's gotten so much tighter since we first got in the Quest.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, not only, you know, from hand tracking 1.0 to hand tracking 2.0, but they've done little updates, you know, throughout the time that it's just, it used to be so shaky.
Well, and as we learned, anytime someone's using the hand tracking, no matter what the app, every time you're doing it, it's information gathered back to the, I don't know.
To meta, to
The
improve
meta
the
brain.
experience, yeah.
I'm just picturing this big plugged in, like pulsing brain, you know, give me your data, dude. I'll let your hands work better, dude.
Well,
But
definitely the hand tracking.
not data
improved,
like they're
so.
stealing data. I'm just saying data from using your hands for hand tracking.
Yeah, that was
it does get better.
Talk about it a lot, but that was the Just Hoops developer who told us that
That
you
was
know,
educational.
Yeah.
That and wear white gloves.
yeah, to help with the lighting,
Yep, with it being able to see your hands.
with the tracking of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like to anybody who's had bad experiences with hand tracking, you know, make sure you have a well lit room. That's important.
Yeah. No, I'm more than impressed of where it's come from to where it's going, because there was some things that I bought early on that just because, you know, hey, it's got hand tracking, and after like 5 minutes I was like, hey, this is wonky and janky as all can be.
Mm-hmm.
Not playing it again. And it's actually since changed. It's like you can actually use your hands. I won't
Yeah, and a game that
bring anybody down by name, but
in a game that we love, that's actually all based around it, Unplugged, the air guitar game, and it works phenomenal.
yeah, dude, he crushed it with that though.
Mm-hmm.
Right on even release, I was blown. Because I was like, man, you're gonna have to play guitar. It's gonna have to pick all this up. And no shit, put those controllers down and give that guitar that stroke. Ka-chung.
I love Unplugged.
Yeah, I will never say anything negative about that unless they do something terrible for the consumer. But what he did for, I think, hand tracking and showing what could be done at the time that he came out, it still holds up today.
Yeah, man, hand tracking, color pass-through, not color pass-through, but pass-through in general.
Yeah.
I love all these little niche features of VR.
Yeah, it's going to be neat to try.
Yeah, but
I definitely see hand tracking getting more popular in the long run. Though.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Another game that utilizes hand tracking, Cubism. We talked to the developer Thomas Van Bowel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cubism's one of the best puzzle games on the store.
Yeah,
it's super fun. He's working on a new game. Oh, that game actually lets you do hand tracking and pass through. Cubism, but you can tell he's fallen in love with the pass through a bit because he's working on a new game called Laser Dance.
Laser Dance.
Yeah, it turns your room into a laser obstacle course, and it's going to be mixed. It's going to be it's going to be pass through. So
it'll look like some Mission Impossible shit going down.
Yep. So it'll be, if you're on the Quest 2, it'll be the black and white. If you're on the Quest Pro, I'm sure he'll release it for that. It'll be, you know, color pass through, but it'll be your room, and then it'll be like a laser obstacle course, and you have to duck and dodge the lasers and touch a button, and then get to the next button. And
perhaps he should get together with the developer of Thief VR and start working on some future upgrades for that game. Because you think about it, you go into some like stupid rich person's house and all the laser beams shooting. You'd have to. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, Thomas Van Bowel is a good developer. I saw him teasing. I saw him teasing this game. Probably, honestly, off the top of my head, maybe 6-7 months ago. He posted a video on Twitter and just said it was a little like project, little like side thing he was working on. Didn't sound like anything big was going to come out of it. It was just like a little thing he was practicing with mixed reality with the pass through. And I instantly thought, like, man, I want to play that. So I'm excited to hear that it's going to be an actual game.
I also like when, you know, it's okay to build a game, but it's totally different when you're building something unique that nobody necessarily has done before, or it's not become so saturated that, you know, everybody knows how to do it. So I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, he's on the cutting edge with hand tracking.
I give all developers credit, but I like to see the originality of something.
Yeah, he added hand tracking and pass through to cubism pretty early on, in them starting to pop into games, and now he's doing a whole game based on
He's a
pass through.
smart kid.
Yeah, he's on the ball.
He's a
He's on the
smart
cusp of
kid.
things. And then we also got, it was referenced on a podcast that Zuck was on a couple weeks ago.
The
Zuck. But, Zuckerberg also did tell the investors in their last little investor call that the Quest 3 is launching sometime later next year. What later next year means, I'm going to guess that means October, November next year, just like the same time the Quest Pro launched. That's my gut instinct.
I hear later and I start having Rockstar fears well, we said it was coming later. Later could be like that very last day of the...
Yeah, I think that they'll have it ready for Christmas time, like that October, November. I don't think later next year.
Anything September, October, that's more than tolerable.
Yeah, I don't think later next year means August or July or March or spring it means
or January.
Yeah, no, it means, to me, that means holiday season,
No, makes sense, especially if they're going to hold true to the rumored price points and stuff. So
I just really hope that one has color pass through.
Gives me time to save up.
The word is that it doesn't have, eye tracking and face tracking. That's fine. But color pass through, I think, is essential for the next one.
Is it going to have a good battery life, stronger resolution for better graphics? We already know that, and we'll get to it, but, better controllers. So if you're giving me all that, it's essentially a real upgrade to the Quest 2, then shit, I'm down.
Yeah. And like you said, when we first talked about the Quest Pro, you were joking like, geez, if it's $1,000 for face and eye tracking, I don't need it. To me, that's not a make it or break it feature.
No.
I'd rather color pass through, increased resolution, better graphics.
Yeah, better gaming experience. Better motion control.
You kind of referenced it, last time we did a Monday Morning News too, and I agree. I kind of feel like Rockstar's holding out with Grand Theft Auto for the next generation Quest. I'm starting to think it won't drop on the Quest 2.
I mean, it probably could, but it'll probably melt it. I don't know. I can't.
But I think the Quest 2 has been out long enough that
they haven't even done that, and I want Red Dead 2.
But I think the Quest 2's been out long enough that I think it's a fair time, next year to release a new headset. I'll pay for it. I'll get that. That's it. Very reasonable price point they're talking about as well.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting.
I'll be a day one pre-order. The only thing I hope is that we have lens manufacturers. The people who make the lens inserts, like the ones that we have from VR Optician. Those ones are they're so good. To me, as somebody who has a strong glasses prescription, I get a VR headset. I need lens inserts. So I hope that we have some lens inserts available on the first couple days.
Yeah, man.
Because I'll be a day one pre-order, but I need those inserts.
I need accessories. I don't have the prescription inserts, but I have the clear. They protect my lenses, and I've got so many accessories for my Quest 2 that there is a little sadness when I know that
you need to start over at the next headset.
Yeah, man. It's like I can want for nothing as far as an accessory. And almost feel spoiled to some degree, but some of them I really like a lot, and to know that I'm going to lose that is like, oh, come on.
Yeah, dude, right now I have VR Optician lens.
Even though I know the next one's going to be comfortable and all that.
Yeah, and these accessories will come out, but they're not going to be available to the same level they are for the Quest 2 on day one.
Dude, I'm shocked that the day of release for the Pro, that the people making third parties weren't just dumping ads everywhere. Even if they were conceptual, because they didn't have the actual. I mean, everyone's proven there's some really good companies out there making products.
Yeah, I mean, we're sponsored by our podcast, sponsored by Kiwi.
Design.
Kiwi Design, man, they make some great stuff. But there's a bunch of good It's a whole industry.
I should have just mentioned them, but it's their grip, the grip covers that we have with the battery interchangeable on the fly that I'll most miss if I ever upgrade my controllers.
Yeah,
because they're weighted. They give me the extension I need for my hands.
Yeah, I think my full setup right now is I have the VR Optician lens inserts. I have a Lucidco skin on it, a custom-made Ruff Talk VR skin on it.
Yep.
I have a Kiwi battery pack head strap, which is, man.
Well, yeah, we'll be talking about that.
That is one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite because having the ability to just plug in right there in the weight balance is so good.
Well,
but
nobody will ever have to hear me say, and it sucked my battery out. You know, it's like, I mean, I'm honest about it, but now if I'm set with a fat battery backup, I'm good.
Yeah, and then I got the Kiwi face insert, and then I got exactly what you were just talking about, the lens or the grip extenders, which is it's such a beast setup right now. It's like I'm so happy.
To start from scratch.
Yeah, I don't know what my favorite is though, because like I'd argue the most game changing for me is the lens inserts because of my situation. Like
because to see better, of course.
And I don't like wearing lenses or wearing glasses with the headset. Yeah. I'm so scared of scratching the lenses.
Yep.
Ugh, it's scary.
When I had my fiance try it, I thought I heard her glasses hit mine. Tink.
Well, at least you have the plan. I think they're called plano lenses, plano, something like that. The non-prescription inserts. At least you have those. So if there's any damage, it's just on those, not your actual lenses.
I remember I had issues. I was like worried that I wasn't, field of view or whatever. No, nothing. And they save your lenses.
I'll say it all the time. Those Kiwi grip extenders, oh, man, it changed it into such a better controller experience.
Those are actually my favorite.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man, because also that battery pack, just being able when I see that low battery and I just go, hold on 1 second.
I love the way they feel in my hand.
Yeah. So definitely, man, I never thought of that until you just brought that up now.
Yeah,
like when I get the Quest 3,
I'm hoping
I got to put aside like a little extra just for like, I didn't realize how big accessories were to the Quest setup when I first got my Quest 2.
The Quest to me is literally just the front unit, just that little box.
Which you actually said it earlier when we were talking off air. You're like, hey, if that keeps the price down, I'm down for it. Then I'll do the rest myself.
Yep. Just send me no straps, nothing.
Bare minimum, because it creates a whole industry of these other companies. A lot of people are making money now.
That, and when Zuck was saying that, like, he actually likes seeing that third-party market. I mean, to me, that's a win for everybody. They can focus on what they need and just send you the most generic, whatever they got to do to get it in your hands other than the technology in the actual unit, and let the third-party people make a little piece of the pie and sell you really unique stuff that works well.
Yeah, if the Quest 2 came with like the best head strap and the best face grip or face interface and best controller grips and all that stuff on day one, it would cost $600. And there would be no Kiwi, there would be no Bobo, there would be no of these other companies.
It would all be proprietary to their device.
So I like it the way it is. I love the interchangeability of shit. I love seeing all these different. There's so many of them.
You left out our charging stands too.
Oh, from Mysterion.
Yeah,
those are so
color changing charging station.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who knows with the next Quest if that's gonna fit well on that.
They
add that to the list of shit you're gonna need.
I saw them posting about a new headset stand. I don't know if it's out yet. Like if they were posting about it being out or if they're just hyping it up. I don't remember, but it's got some side connectors and stuff.
I saw that.
It looks real tight. Asterion's another good company.
Reputable.
Yeah. Man, I love the whole industry that exists. It's awesome. So I hope these guys get
so you see my concern. Like even if we had gotten pros on like day one, we'd be like, all right, we have no third party, nothing.
I'd be scared to use it until I got the lens insert. I hope that these companies get like sign NDAs and get a little early access to the headsets for R&D.
I wondered that, but with the lack of
things already being out,
I mean, because let's be honest, if we were in that industry, the day that Pro came out, we'd be like, all right, let's throw a million ads at Facebook, and you wouldn't be able to sign on to Facebook or IG without seeing a sponsored ad for
whatever you were selling. Yeah,
Ruff Talk Faceware for your VR. And it's like, I just haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still seeing a ton of ads for new stuff coming from other companies for
Quest 2 stuff.
Yeah, Quest 2 heavy. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see.
And then all these other headsets coming, they're going to have third-party options as well. There's money to be made all over the world in the third-party stuff.
Yeah, I have a big feeling that 2023 is going to be a lit year in VR for, standalone headsets coming out.
Lots of 3D printers. 3D printer sales about to go through the roof.
Yeah. So besides, the Cubism developer, working on a new upcoming game, there's also a game that's been talked about for a little bit. I think they showed it at one of the Quest conferences, not the Quest Connect that just happened, the one that was, I think, in April or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about?
The conference?
Yeah.
No. I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay.
Dude, I've got like 3 conferences going through my head. There was one in Germany.
No, not one of the game, like one of the official Meta showcases.
Oh, okay.
It was earlier this year. I don't remember exactly which month.
I don't.
Okay, but nonetheless, they had hyped
I'll lie. It was in March.
Yeah. Maybe July or I
remember where, like it was in March, July.
Yeah. Something like that. Maybe 2021 sometime. But at one point Broken Edge was announced. Broken Edge, it's a new sword fighting game made by developer Trebuchet and published by Fast Travel Games, very reputable developer. Mm-hmm. I won't lie.
I like Fast Travel.
Yeah, I love Cities VR. They did a great job with that. Now, granted, they're just the publisher in this, but,
usually, well, yeah. So I guess they're not really ponying up the money as a, producer, so.
Well, you don't know their internal, I'd say
I don't know how much say they really have.
My impression would be that every game's, relationship between publisher and developer is probably a little different. It's probably case by case, company by company.
That producer you want real tight with. That's the guy with the wallet.
But it's a sword fighting game, and it looks pretty tight. It reminds me a little bit of Iron Lights, which I was pretty kick ass at. That was one of my better games that I've done online with. It's coming out.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's coming out November 17th, so pretty soon.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it got its launch date, which is again back to the point I always make that when these games that are they're announced but they don't have a release date. When they get a release date, it's always 2 or 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so the opposite of how consoles and stuff do. But I love this way. You hear, all right, there's a release date. It's in fucking
2
less
weeks.
than a month.
Yeah. Get your wallet ready.
Yeah. So I love that.
I'm getting concerned with the sword fighting market. Nothing to the point where it's I'm not going to play it, but there seems to be an abundance.
I think that this is one of those areas. Why has LucasArts not come in and made a Star Wars one? Give me a lightsaber and go competitive. Totally, I don't even need force powers in that one. We can just go straight.
Just lightsabers.
Hell yeah. Save room for that. Don't oversaturate with sword fighting games and not have a lightsaber one yet.
Yes, I'm just like I said, my concern level is going up because there's a lot of sword fighting games. Some futuristic, you could say that, and some not, but I don't want it to take away from the really great ones.
No. But I'm curious. It looks interesting. It's got a little bit of those animated drawn graphics. That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
It's colorful.
No, I get what you're talking about.
But let's see. I'll give it a try. Like I said, I kicked pretty good ass at Iron Lights, so, even if it's just another sword fighting game, you know what? I'm always happy to get some W's.
Oh yeah. No, I'm anxious to try it. I just don't want the market. I don't want 100 sword fighting games a year.
Yeah, I get it. But, before we continue on, let's not forget, let's take a moment real quick. Let's take a message from our sponsors. Like I said, people who help keep on the lights, help keep the show going.
Yep, absolutely.
We'll be back with you in just a moment. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in metaquest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The metaquest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my 2 personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real. We've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. Fall is in the air, and our friends at Vincero Collective has sponsored this episode to make sure all of our listeners are accessorizing their autumn outfits with premium watches, jewelry, sunglasses, and more. Their top-tier designs make sure you look class while you save some cash. Other watchmakers have insane markups, so that's where Vincero steps in. You can have the looks of a premium lifestyle without breaking the bank. For a limited time only, get 20% off plus free shipping site-wide with our exclusive code Ruff Talk VR at VinceroCollective.com. I love the high-quality feel and fashionable look that Vincero Collective brings without breaking the bank. Vincero Collective designs everything in-house, sources their own materials, and produces in small batches so the quality is at the highest standard. Whether you have a work meeting or a nice date planned, a high-quality watch can make a great impression. Vincero offers many attractive designs for the modern individual. In addition to watches, Vincero just launched their commuter bag. This is the ultimate travel bag specifically designed for someone who likes to look good while traveling. This product is made of 100% recycled nylon material, so it is lightweight and you can support a sustainable cause. Vincero Collective also offers iconic sunglass styles with polarized lenses and 100% UV protection. You can block out the sun with style. Feeling confident? Add on to your look with their essential yet sophisticated necklaces and bracelets for both you and for her. And with holidays sneaking up, this is the perfect gift for yourself or someone you love. Buy it before they sell out. But you don't have to take my word for it. With over 30,000 5-star reviews, they have been named GQ's go-to brand for premium lifestyle accessories. Get 20% off plus free shipping site-wide with the code RuffTalkVR at VinceroCollective.com. Support our show and use code RuffTalkVR at VINCERO Collective.com. Accessorize your life at an exceptional price with Vincero. We are excited to announce our newest Ruff Talk VR podcast sponsor, VRlist.xyz, a marketplace for VR talent that just launched April this year and already has over 100 members as of October. At VRlist.xyz, they believe the metaverse will usher in new opportunities for all those who partake in it. With that, they asked a simple question: how can you find VR creators? Unhappy with the results they found, it was time to take things into their own hands. They've embarked on a journey to simplify how those looking for VR services can connect with those who supply them. VRlist.xyz is an open marketplace for VR creators, instructors, entertainers, and proprietors to proudly showcase their talents and spaces to potential clients. And with already over 100 vendors listed, including Stratus and yours truly, VRlist.xyz is quickly becoming the premier VR talent marketplace. Again, that's VRlist.xyz to find the right VR talent for your needs. All right, well, back from that little break. Hey, like I always say, we got to keep the lights on. The show has to stay alive somehow.
It does help to have electricity.
Yes, of course, your listenership is very important. That's how we kind of get those sponsorships. It's a full circle.
It's everybody wins. It's a circle of life.
Circle of life, and we've got some good ones at this point. We've got watches, we got T-shirts, we got shaving, we got publishing list, we got accessories. It's a good time in the Ruff Talk VR podcast family.
Yeah, if you look at the whole package of current sponsors, it all
I'm
comes
happy with
together.
it.
Yeah, it all comes together very well.
But let's get back to the news, I guess.
The nitty gritty.
We'll go into some financial talk, no stocks or anything like that, but I guess some numbers. So first thing that's kind of real impressive.
Some numbers.
Bone Lab, which came out the other week, it came out that in their first hour of release, they passed 1 million in sales. Which, I always say, maybe in console numbers, that's not crazy, but for VR...
Is that $1 million in sales, or is that 1 million sold copies?
I think that's $1 million in sales.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
I was just in my head, I'm like, could you imagine if it was 1 million copies?
Well, remember how much the reviews were blowing up on it and the amount of people who completed the first couple achievements? So I'm not surprised. What I want to know is what was that number after the first 24 hours? First hour is one thing. I didn't buy it the first hour. Bought it like maybe hour 4 or 5, 6, something like that after release.
Probably safe to assume they made 1 million an hour then.
The whole day, or at least, man, I'm curious to the 24-hour number. I'm like, wow, they didn't give us that.
No, and it's still selling. So
that means that many people had their finger on the trigger. Like, all right, at this time is when the game's gonna drop. Click
within 60 minutes.
I've done that with some games. Don't get me wrong, but I just wasn't. There was no point because I wasn't home from work yet or anything like that. It dropped.
And I doubt the data just drops off after the first, exactly this. 61 minutes. Look at that. It went down 80%.
It's just plateaued. No, I have a feeling it. I agree with you. I wonder if they kept it. There's a possibility they kept the steady million a whole 24 hours. Maybe at some points they even passed 1 million. Maybe it averaged to about 1 million an hour.
I mean,
Some hours 0.7.
hearing some of the financials of some of the developers or the the ones where names aren't mentioned, but you hear some numbers, it's mind-boggling to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more money than I actually thought for the current market where it's at, but it just shows how, I mean, with the VR market now, and you made $1 million in an hour, 5 years from now, geez Louise, man.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody expected VR to be, or the Quest market
Even know that
specifically.
you could make that kind of money in the VR industry right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm. It has to be attractive to developer
Come
studios.
on. Yeah, that's at the end of the day where everybody wins.
Mm-hmm.
Until people prove money can be made, and we talked about this over a year ago. Hey, you might be a real reputable studio with a lot of freaking money, but are you going to make that investment into something that's not going to give you good ROI? No.
Nope. And I actually
Now people are proving it.
I actually think, it's got a good story mode and everything, but I think in the end, I actually think Medal of Honor made other big studios a little bit more hesitant because, Respawn made that, they're a big studio, but it wasn't like the most well-received game.
No.
So I think that, that was an example of, if they had came over and killed it and was able to go back and tell, everybody else, hey, look, we made a freaking killing. The community loved it. Unfortunately, they got a very, if anything, a tough reception. So,
people.
I wouldn't be surprised if that made a couple other big studios like, oh, we don't really understand VR enough to make the transition over yet. We'll keep and watch.
How's this? We reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
We had our issues with certain things about it.
And it was a good story mode, but it was mainly that multiplayer.
But I haven't seen a notable update since it came out.
Oh, I think Respawn went peace.
Cha-ching.
Fuck
See
that.
Yeah, so I mean, even if you are, a AAA studio,
it's still got to be a good game.
There's no guarantee you're going to pull it off.
No, it's got to be a good game. It's got to work good. Like, it's got to run smooth. That's number one.
I forgot how much hype there was for that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I swallowed the hype pill, I believe. So
that's like the opposite of, like, example, Resident Evil 4, which had a bunch of hype and then delivered. That
just depends, I guess, on
the delivery.
How serious people really want to take it.
Mm-hmm. I know that was a little. I don't know if it actually did make any difference in other big
so
studios coming
know?
over, but that's just a guess.
What games have tanked and made no money? Because even like some of the shittiest reviewed games out there have reviews and there's a lot of ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
people have bought it and played it.
Is the worst game out there still making really? I mean, not millions of dollars, but I made $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Would people be appalled?
Right. And I mean,
but no, it's good for people looking to get into the industry and developers on the fence of really stepping in feet first.
Mm-hmm. Like, wow, the first hour.
And now's the time too.
Yeah. I mean, start to figure it out now. It's upsetting. That's what's upsetting, that Respawn piece, instead of just being like, all right, first experience. All right, we got through the mud.
They could have owned it
and just been like, all right, next one will be better. We're learning.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We're starting over, basically, new industry, whatever.
We're sorry.
See you in a couple of years. We got a new one coming. Don't worry.
We're sorry.
Because it feels like they went, peace. All right, not our market, not our thing.
I've said before, sometimes when new games come out, I go, look, let's just wait for an upgrade and see what or update and see what happens and what changes they make. And
what's gonna happen now? Tomorrow,
update tomorrow.
No, tomorrow morning it's going to come out that Respawn's working on a new VR game coming out in 2023 or something like that. I'm going to be like,
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be. Hey, I hope so too. I hope that's the case.
My feelings will not be hurt.
Mine neither, and I'm the one who's saying this.
Mm-hmm.
So, on another note of financials, before we get back to another fun thing, it also came out that the Quest store surpassed 1.5 billion in revenue. And I remember when hearing that they passed $1 billion like sometime earlier this year. So to now hit 1.5 billion doesn't sound like those numbers are slowing down.
No, and wait until after Christmas when those numbers pull.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be crazy.
There's an article on roadtovr.com. If you go to it, you'll see they have like a nice chart. And it shows, the revenue. Yeah. By per month. And then you'll see that Christmas revenue come, that first Christmas of the Quest 2 out. And it just shoots almost straight up, and it doesn't really look like it's slowed down since.
No, I mean, all somebody has to do is, let's be honest, owning a headset is personal, so you shouldn't really have to share it. It's like, have I run to Best Buy to try the Pro? No. I don't want my face in it if someone else is. I just, 80 people a day going to put, no, get the hell out of here.
Their snot nose is all up on it.
I'm good.
Pink
I
eye.
am good. So to me, it's a personal.
Herpes fucking faces.
It's a
There
personal
clusters
thing.
everywhere. No, I agree with you. I'm as soon as you said that, like, hey, the only reason I haven't gone to Best Buy yet and tried one is I don't want to stick my face in somebody else. So I'm like, yeah, that's actually a very fair point.
I don't want Quest Eye.
Didn't think of that. Unless I'm the first in the day and I see them take that thing out of the box and set it up.
And even then, I might not. Let me see the guy who opened it up out of the box.
Yeah, what's his fingers look like over there? Were you just rubbing your butt or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me sniff that. I saw you come from out of the restroom a moment ago. You wash your hands?
You're fucking gross.
Oh, man. But no, good for them. It's funny. I think the biggest maturing I've had about my thoughts in the VR industry in the past year, from like where I started 2022 to now where we're closing it.
It is 2020.
Yeah, like I said, the difference between my thoughts at the start of 2022 and now as we're closing in on it at the end, I think the biggest thing I've matured on is my thoughts on content curation.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty against, I guess overall against it at the start of the year. I was like, all these games should be on the official store. And now, granted, most of them are. Most of the ones I was ranting about. But I understand it now, especially after talking to Chris Pruitt. Like, that's how you get to 1.5 billion in revenue.
Oh, no.
You can't just let everything
Their selection process is legit. So jump through the hoops and get the rewards at the end. But you can still make bank on App Lab.
And it's great to see, we talked about it the other week, and I'll just reiterate it. It's great to see all of these games moving to the official store. It's awesome. It's like success stories.
I get the feeling that they all didn't sit there and wait either. It's like everyone we've spoken to put a lot of time and effort in.
Many updates.
Although I get that you can wait for, somebody special to play your game and post about it or tweet about it and it have a really huge effect on your sales. But the real way to get it done is, what do I got to do? Well, it needs to run at this frame rate. Well, okay, there's your first thing. Fix that.
Yeah, there's a couple I'll still petition for. Squingle, Color Connect.
Listen, if they meet all the criteria,
those ones are great
with the technology requirements, and they're not, then that's sad.
Atlas Mystery, that's another good one.
Again, I don't know what the
Swordsman VR. Oof.
I need to have a developer headset so I can run their programs they use. So how
see the frame rate.
Yeah.
See, all right, they're dipping. They're dipping.
Okay, I get that part because I'll use Atlas. I don't understand why that wouldn't be. So there must be some technological thing going on. I don't understand.
Yeah, that one's amazing. Same with Swordsman VR. Swordsman VR is like a full blown campaign.
Yeah, they're store bound.
They have to be.
Yeah.
And we're reviewing another game later this week that I think is another shoe-in for official store, but we'll save that for Wednesday. We don't need to go super sidetracked on that one. So I guess the last thing before we wrap this baby up, we'll talk about, we haven't gotten to try a Quest Pro. We just joked about not trying one in Best Buy.
I gave you my legitimate reason why.
Unfortunately, if I had $1,500 to spend on a VR headset, I would have a gaming PC, and I would also be talking about PC VR. You know what I mean? Like, the reason I don't...
That comes down the road.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
One day, day by day. But, like, it's the exact... I got into VR with the Quest because of the affordability. It's kind of tough with the Quest Pro, but it is attractive with the color pass-through, and it's cool to see it pave its way for the next generation. But, I've definitely been following reviews because, again... I'm a sucker for mixed reality, and it's attractive. Between that and the controllers, it's like, damn. But nonetheless, it seems like that the biggest takeaway is that the controllers are stealing the show.
Yeah, almost. It's funny. Every good review and bad review will pretty much make mention of those controllers. And the bad reviews are like, I'm returning the headset, but I'm buying these controllers the minute I can.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, the controllers cost almost the same as a Quest 2. They're $390 or $299 right now. It's $300 for a controller.
They're a little pricey.
They're not out yet. Like, you can't buy it.
I think it comes out.
I think they do. I think off the top of my head, I think they're coming out in December to buy separately. And it's tempting because all the reviews of the Quest Pro, man, it's like that improved tracking. The feel of them. Everybody's super complimentary of them, and I'm like, I could see how I play a lot of games that involve swinging the arms, sword fighting games, punching games. I could see how this improved tracking would make a huge difference.
Well, if you do want the controllers, you can get them tomorrow.
They're not.
Spend $1,500 on a Pro.
That's a good point.
Keep the Pro in the box and use your controllers on your Quest 2.
They don't work yet. The software update's not out.
Allegedly.
No, it doesn't work yet. People have tried. Unfortunately, that's what sucks. Is like people have already
You're
tried.
You're at the mercy of when they
allow the integration into it.
Yeah,
because don't get me wrong, if I had a Quest Pro, that'd be the first thing I tried.
Probably when they're for sale.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm thinking. That's probably why they're not for sale yet. They're probably like, shit, we're a little behind on this update. It's not exactly ready
because
yet.
Of the new fancy controllers. Everyone else's are going to be like dumbed down now with technology, so you get like little lag moments. We'll get you to buy these controllers one way or another. You just wait and see. So my $1 million question is going to be: are they going to incorporate that type of controller design and functionality with the next headset?
That's what's interesting because you see
that
that
be sad if it's basically I mean it's like they can't. I just think like a pro user is probably going to buy the next headset and he's not going to want to go backwards, or she, with the controllers.
No, and but you think about it, it's like these controllers cost $300 as they are. Rumored that next headset's going to be $400 or $500. I don't like that math. Right? I don't like that math. That makes me think that they're not going to be. But these controllers have like their own processor in them. They have like their own computer. Yeah. That's even what Zuckerberg said at the Connect. He's like, that's pretty ridiculous actually, but they're two their own little computers.
So if you're on the fence with spending $1,500, don't just spend the $300 and.
I'm tempted.
Upgrade your. I'm not gonna lie.
I wasn't at first because I was until I heard the price. Then I wasn't. But then now I'm hearing the reviews of everybody who spent $1,500 and saying that the controller stole the show, and I'm like, damn, it might be worth it.
Well, the fact that I read people who are boxing their unit back up but have full intentions of happily spending $300, and those were one was a Beat Saber player, so that they obviously are tracking better if you've got people who play these type of motion games, and then they're like, nope, it definitely was better.
Yeah, first thing I would do with them is go into Thrill the Fight.
Start throwing down some punches. Yeah, I need that third-party protection.
I was just about to say, that goes back to your point about, now we need the Kiwi extenders for the pros.
You drop that controller, you're going to, like, have a panic attack.
Mm-hmm. And, dude, oh, man, it's eating at me. There's one other App Lab game I wanted to mention that should be in the official store. Can't remember it for the life of me. And it's eating at me because I know it's going to come to me as soon as we're done recording. I'm going to be like, oh, that's such a good App Lab game.
Of course.
But if I think
of
it,
the problem with App Lab though, there's a lot of good freaking games.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of our favorites have moved, but there's still some that I would like to see. But I understand the whole curation process. I'm not going to sit here and
I mean, my attitude after the interview was it changed, and I could see it in my own head. I felt like such an idiot, like week after week. How come this isn't on the store? This deserves to be on the store.
Well,
it's
hey,
like,
not for nothing.
Technically, it might not be running at the required parameters that it needs to be on the store. I'm like, I felt so small.
Even from talking about Arcaxer, which is a great example, it won our App Lab Game of the Year. We were sitting there saying, oh, this game should absolutely be on the official store, and now it is. But they still did have to do a lot of...
That's what I'm talking about.
A lot of editorial work on their end to get it to meet those requirements.
If you're not doing your part, then I guess you can't really expect Meta to be like banging on your door. Please come on the store.
It seems like updates is like one of the biggest things. Staying consistent, having an engaged community.
Meeting the minimum requirements to have a game on a store is where I'd start. And again, without being privy to everything that's required, I don't have a cut sheet that says this is exactly what Meta looks for. I'd love to one day, just so we could run an App Lab game and be like, hey, we really love the game, and we can righteously say we don't know why it's not in the store because it fell in the frame rate parameters. I don't know where things might get hokey is, what's your future plans for your game? What's your marketing strategy? Which I believe is...
it seems like, without knowing for sure, it seems like a very big part.
Yeah.
All the games
that go to that table with we didn't think about that, then, we'll probably talk to you. Get back to us in 6 months.
Yeah. All the games that we've seen that we loved and have gone over to the official store have gotten updates. And like I said, have an engaged community, so
there's a lot involved. And that's why some of these 2 studio teams we talked to, they're just flat out crazy.
Like Arcaxer.
To handle their social media presence and while developing a game, and then dealing with corporate stuff, which you're going to have to, and then
Bugs
doing
and
podcasts
fixes.
and doing your self. That is a shit.
You get a guy like me sliding into your messages. Hey, you want to come on and
want to come and talk about your game? Come on, man. You do. You're not busy enough.
We'll do it on a weekend too.
There's 24 hours in the day, and you only need 4 of them for sleep. So let's go. Oh, and by the way, let's do this on a weekend, just in case you were trying to do the whole weekday job thing. No, I give all these people credit, and it's crazy the amount of small teams pumping out some of the best content we as consumers love to play, but don't really know that it's not like an office building full of people.
It's back to me. I came back. It's one game that I will die on the hill still, that I maybe it doesn't meet the requirements.
We'll never know because you would forget.
It came back. It came back. I'm so glad.
But
Bocce time.
Oh yeah. You know what's you know why I didn't say it?
Because you're worried about Forever VR making a bocce game and stealing that. That's a fear of mine.
I'm gonna say that's probably was in the works before Bocce Time even came out. No, I don't think of it as an App Lab game, so it's weird.
That's why I forgot about it.
Yeah,
that's why it slipped my mind. It's like it's its own category.
It sits at the top of my thing in my top list of games because I love to go in there and it sounds dumb, but I love to play some bocce.
It has that walkabout mini golf magic
so I'll
feel
agree with
to
you
it.
totally, because I don't mentally think of it. Some App Lab games I play, I'm like, oh, I'm playing an App Lab game.
Yeah,
and you think it. This one I don't.
Yeah, Swordsman and Bocce Time are the two.
But I do have that 4VR fear that you have.
100%. I mean, hey, look, they just came out with, or they're coming out with a pool game, and I'm so excited for it because I think that their style of gameplay
works perfect.
I think that they're going to knock pool out of the water.
But they're nailing all of them because they have bowling.
That's why I said I hope they don't steal Bocce. Bocce Time is so good, and I honestly think even if Forever VR came out with a bocce game, I think Bocce Time would be better. I think Forever VR.
You say that. You haven't played the 4VR one.
Think
of how many different bocce balls you're going to get. Some of them have weird effects.
Bocce Time's so good.
And they're shot.
It's going to be tough.
Like pool.
I think they'll have the best pool one. I think they'll have the best pool one. They have my favorite bowling one. They have a damn good darts one.
I mean, I won't lie. 4VR pool will crush the competition.
No, I think that one's going to steal the show.
They've already got that whole social thing down to a pat. So I mean,
and their environments they do is going to look so much like a pool hall. You'll have your meta avatar. They do really good with the physics. So I think they're going to steal the show with pool. But you can't touch my bocce.
Don't touch my bocce.
Stay the hell away from Bocce Time.
Maybe they'll work with the developer. Be like, look, just give us access to your stuff.
Look, don't ever make a bocce game. Alright? It's very important that Bocce Time is the game that makes it to the official store for bocce. Do all the others. Don't you dare mess with bocce.
No, but Bocce Time's so good, and I just see for VR, Forever VR, whatever their name is, I see them scooping up every sports title, and it makes sense because they have that copy and paste template. Why not?
Why not? They've done all the hard work. They just got to fill in that
cornhole.
Yep. I wish they'd change the name. They could even call it sack toss. I like that better than cornhole.
It's not a sports game, but I think that they could do pinball really good because of the social aspect.
I'm all set with pinball. Please don't do pinball.
I am excited for their pool, though. I'm real excited for that one.
Genuinely.
Me and you have talked about pool for a while. The rack was real good, the first one. The second one we haven't reviewed until,
we'll talk about
they're figuring out their things. It's just still, it's not fair to do a full review yet.
No.
They're still working out their kinks.
It's not bad, though.
No, it's not bad. It's just not finished. It's still heavily going through updates. So I don't think that's a fair time to drop a review. So not really much else to talk about this week. I will say I definitely did, like I said in the beginning, I can feel it. I missed the Monday morning news banter.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to be back doing a review on Wednesday as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's going to be an App Lab game.
Haven't done one of those in a while.
And you had came up with a great idea for App Lab games going forward with the review system, and I agree with it so much. So we're going to start with it next episode with App Lab games instead of replayability. We're going to switch that to store worthiness. And that makes so much sense. Yeah. Instead of adding another category.
Then we don't have to say, I don't know why this isn't on the store. We'll just say, hey,
look,
the
it got
category-
a 15. You know, it's not really.
Correct.
It's got some stuff to do.
Correct.
Or like a bocce time would get the 20.
Yeah.
You know, boom.
Oh yeah, no, he already does in my book.
There's some games that would get a 10. It is what it is. Every game's different. All right, no, but I love that idea. And other than that, stay tuned for Wednesday's App Lab review. And then stay tuned.
Talk soon.